Anybody wasting life, I announce to you, your generation is wasted. Your family is wasted. Number two, whatever a person does to prevent himself from being killed does not amount to an offense. That is the Constitution. Anything a person does in order to prevent himself from being killed, whatever it is not an offense. Section 59 of the Penal Code provides that nothing is an offense of which is done in the lawful exercise of the right of private defense. Nothing is an offense. Vigilante groups, hear the word. Nothing is an offense. Section 60 of the Penal Code also provides that the right of private defense extends to A, the defense of his own body and the body of any other person against any offense affecting the human body. B, the property, whether movable or immovable, of himself or of any other person. In other words, against any act which is an offense under the definition of theft, robbery, mischief, criminal trespass, which is an attempt to commit any of those offenses. Meaning is, nothing is an offense where a person is defending himself or defending another from being destroyed or being killed. So what is the useless nonsense about those who think they have the claim to take lives at will, and then they go unarrested and they go unharassed? The end of it has come. Somebody shout, enough is enough. What I read said, if the man killed somebody because they came to kill him, that the court discharged him acquitted. That devil is a bastard. In case you are saying, Pastor, but is it Constitution you are quoting? Let's go to Bible. Take your seat. Genesis chapter 9 verse 6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be set. For in the image of God made him man. The killer is qualified for killing. Exodus chapter 22 verse 2. Look at what it said. If a thief be found, so let's generalize it. A thief is the lowest level. Kidnapper, ritual killer, assassin, hired killer, terrorist, be found breaking up and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. But that action was not an offense. He came to finish people, and the people he came to finish gathered and finished him. Those people did nothing wrong. Proverbs chapter 26 verse 27. He that diggeth a pit shall fall inside. Whatever he wants is given. He that rolleth a stone. Somebody say back to sender. Somebody saying you are quoting Old Testament. Let's go to New Testament. Revelation chapter 13 verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed. Whatever he uses to come to kill, with the same equipment he shall be attacked. Now see what the penal code said. It said the person is not only meant to defend himself, but any other person around. And you want to watch them waste your wife and children. They went into one house, they pulled out everybody, ripped women's pregnancy open, plucked out the eye of a little boy, and left him alive with the two eyes plucked out. Somebody say enough is enough. Say enough is enough. Did Jesus have anything to say about self-defense?
Good evening, my fellow Ambazonians. Good evening for all. I hope say they fine. I be una brother Asio, the press secretary for the executive office for the governing council of Ambazonia. As una fit see at the travel, I dey for travel because of work. So I'm not there for my base. So my presentation for una It could be for different places. Like the nature of our life. So actually, they for a hotel, I use one of the rooms for a hotel for try for communicate with Wona during this period. And for the next several days, I will be out of my base. If I'll be out for work, I would move around a lot. And a very busy time for we. So I salute all Una. I hope say Una they fine. And no matter what they go on, the most important thing I say, we must find the time for communicate for our people then. We must find the time for address our people then. We must find the time for keep the spirit of our resistance alive. We'll get a national duty for Duam. We'll get a liberation duty for Duam. We'll get a responsibility for our people then. We'll get a responsibility for our picking them. We'll get a responsibility to the forces, and we'll get a responsibility to serve. So I don't come for this evening if we can get another discussion for Una. Today, I want to take Una go inside the forgive Una and understanding. For defeat an enemy, you must understand the psychology of that enemy. For defeat occupation, you must understand the psychology of occupation. So today I want to take the time for give all we the mindset, what be the way how Cameroon taken for get Ambazonia, for keep Ambazonia, and then I go also point some things in specific action plan. The simple but very powerful, very effective, very important things in where we as a people will need for doing for gain our independence, for take back our sovereignty, for give our people them the freedom we our people that they ask them. All right. The liberation struggle now quite a beautiful thing because the greatest gift with God a gift mankind, now the gift of freedom. The greatest gift with any people them, they feel give for their own people, now the gift of freedom. The greatest gift where you feel give any other human being, now for help that human being for achieve freedom. The greatest blessing where you figure for any person, now the blessing for help that person, make that person again freedom. I did talk for you so today because I travel for 22 hours, we drive from one end of the country to the other for another part. It takes me 22 hours for road. No police checkpoint. Good roads. For experience that gift of freedom. Even the hotel where they no man go ever can say why you there for the hotel. We can't harass you. And because of that gift of freedom. So I want to explain them for all we. There is nothing will be more important for life. Without freedom, the human life be nothing. Without freedom, the human life, it means nothing. With freedom, the human life means something. Now freedom, they give meaning to our lives. Now through freedom, every other right for life, it be possible. Now through freedom, we will do any other things we want to do. Now through freedom, whether not for married, whether not for born picking them, whether not for go school, whether not for get a good education, whether not for build a career, all those things they come as a result of freedom. Now freedom, they make all those things possible. Freedom now the foundation of life itself. So without freedom, life no get foundation. Without freedom, life by itself, it no go exist. Even if it exists, it go exist in a barbaric form. It go exist in pain and suffering. It go exist in a destructive nature. It go exist where people don't go value the purpose of life itself. Freedom, it gives you the ability for value the purpose of life. Now through freedom, would you experience the greatest joy of this life? Because would you pursue the things with freedom, it make am be possible. The pursuit of happiness, for dream, for be successful, for one good life for your family, for one make your family live in peace, make it live in dignity. All those things, now freedom they make can be possible. Cameroon don't take away the ability and the gift of freedom from the Ambazonian people. So, my papa, your papa, my big mommy, your big mommy, our big mommy, them all, they suffer, they live through pain, they don't enjoy life because Cameroon, it take away the ability for enjoy life. Cameroon take away the ability for our people them, for dream and the ability for them for create their own dreams where God born them with them. So most of our people, they don't die with the dreams where God give them, make for them for come manifest them for this life. So the occupation don't take away the most essential thing we make we human. Freedom. And the reason this one can get this discussion with all now. It be very important. What did Cameroon do for people? The first thing I say, they take away our people their rights for be able for create the kind institutions them where they will give our people their freedom. Okay? Cameroon take away the Ambazonian people their rights for be able for create institutions where they will give the Ambazonian people them the freedom. It take away those rights. Secondly, once it take away the rights for create political institutions, national institutions, social institutions, financial institutions, economic institutions, where they will give the Ambazonian people them the empowerment. Once Cameroon take all those things away from our people then wait till our people they be already get them. Cameroon now start take them away from them. It take away, it destroy all the Ambazonian institutions. Everything, they destroy them. From the marketing board to the power camp. They destroy everything. They take away the Ambazonian parliament. Destroy the Ambazonian House of Chiefs. So everything we will get them as a people, forgive we the life we were people that deserve them. Cameroon destroy everything. So now the first thing that we need to understand for the psychology of the occupation. Once they destroy those things, they now take na their own for make you depend on their own institutions. We must now depend on the central government for Yaoundé. We must now depend on the governor, on the colonial governor with the appointee. We now get for depend on the colonial SDO, and then we'll get for depend on the colonial DOs then. So all what you will get them, they don't take them. Then now they create their own system where we must depend on that system. And that system where they create them for we. Now system where it deprive our people them from these basic human rights. Now they impose their own structures. And the structure where they impose them, and for make sure say they keep our people them under occupation. The governor, the goal, and for make sure say the Ambazonian people them, they live in fear. The SDO, a goal, and for make sure say the Ambazonian people they live in fear. And for make sure say the Ambazonian people they live in total fear. They must fear the Cameroon state. Because the only way for obey that state, now for put fear, so much fear for your heart, you don't get no choice, you don't get no right. You know, if you oppose that state, you must obey. You must live in submission. You must live in total fear. You know, if you oppose the state, you know, if you criticize the state, you know, if you talk anything bad against the state, when you talk them, they finish you. You criticize the state, they pick you up. You talk anything about the Cameroon president, the governor, the SDO, the DO, they finish your life. Right? So, we need to understand the psychology of the occupation. The first thing that will put fear for your heart, the first thing that will take away anything where you get them, you must depend upon them in order for you to be submissive. You must depend upon them if you want to live. For anything we get for do am, if not been at them, they authorize them, it must pass through them. If you work for the state, you need for go now for Yaoundé. Now Yaoundé must approve your salary. Even if you get a job, you get for go make document for Yaoundé. Why you go Yaoundé? You go Yaoundé now for go sign the document of submission. The reason why they make all your documents, they be processed for Yaoundé, so that you go sign submission to the colonial state. Ma repeat am. The reason why they make all documents, no matter any document we want make them, it must go through Yaoundé, so that you go sign submission to the colonial state. You go sign, so you must obey the colonial state. You go follow the colonial state, and if you not do one, your salary no go pass. Even if you work for the state for 40 years, you no go get pension until you sign submission to the state. Until you sign, say you accept the occupation, and you accept for be an occupied person. Now the psychology of the occupier, that the goal is for control your life. The goal is for control your economic life, control your political life, control your financial life. The goal is for make sure say anything where you want to do as a human being, it must be sanctioned by the central occupational government. And the psychology of the occupation, that in order for force you for accept occupation, in order for force you for accept colonialism. I beg, una pardon me, I dey for room here where people that they come in for do their work. All right, we were people that they come in for do their work. So una excuse me. But so the goal now for force you for accept colonialism. The goal now for force you for accept occupation. The goal now for force you for no say you not get no other alternative. Either you submit to colonialism and occupation of the colonial state, or you live in hell. Or you live in hellfire. If you not submit to the colonial state, if you not submit to the occupation state, your life could be hellfire. That's why, for survive for that society, every person must sing CPDM, wear CPDM, shop CPDM, carry CPDM, drink CPDM. And they think they don't be that. Submission to colonialism. Submission to occupation. If you want to exist. So, after the previous generation, they don't live through these painful experiences. They don't live through painful degradation, total humiliation, and disgrace. So you go work for 40 years of your life. You go sleep for the streets of Yaoundé. You go sleep in front of ministries and go down on your own knees for beg a bulu girl, a 20-something-year-old bulu girl. Your big papa, you get for go kneel down for a 20-something-year-old bulu girl, for Becky for your own salary, for Becky for your own pension. Your big mommy get for go sleep for the streets of Yaoundé in front of the colonial ministries for days and for weeks, for just beg for money, their own money where they don't work on, for just beg for their pensions and their salary. And the psychology of the occupation, that for force you for depend upon it for survival. So now why people don't go through all of this yoke of pain, when they get for a point, a threshold, where the people not fit take them anymore. That's why the revolt. A human being fit only take so much pain, so much suffering, so much degradation. People they fit take them for so long before they reach the threshold where they say enough is enough. They reach a threshold where they not fit take them anymore. Now they build up that to 2016. Now they build up this for this generation. So with all those things, but also when I remember, why Cameroon do all these things? All your taxes that you must pay them for them. What did they do with those taxes? Ask yourself, all the taxes where Cameroon they collect them for them, what did they do with those taxes? The reason for the occupation, now for make sure say, now Cameroon they control your resources, they control your political, economic, social, cultural life. So all the taxes where they collect them, now for them for build an army of occupation, for keep you under fear, for keep you under fear, for keep you under terror, for terrorize you, so that you must submit into the colonialism. All right? Now our people, they don't take them anymore. They rise up. It's fine. For the last 5 years, we don't see a level of courage where the world don't ever see them before. Say a people where they don't live through such a tyrannical system, they finally knock their hand for table and rise up for challenge that same system. We don't put their big papa them in prison, kill their big mommy them, put their uncles them, put their aunts in prison. Then they are picking the rise up. They said never again. They said this must stop. Say this must end. Colonialism not been a normal thing. Occupation not be normal. An abnormality for life. For people them for live for those kind of conditions, it not be normal. So no normal human being for accept them. It not be normal. I been talk with a former classmate of mine who I never see since all we come out high school. But recently, all we can't find ourselves for Canada. He don't be here for a couple of years, and he years are there, and then we'll meet up somewhere about a month or so ago. So I said, where my former classmate, I beg, make we meet up, make we visit each other. So over there, about I think over the weekend, he bring a picking them, he bring a picking, bring a cousin, a own picking. He said, well, I can visit my former classmate, and it'd be a great time. When we should know the talk. He said, well, I really like your commitment, your education, and the way they really encourage and empower and inspire the Ambazonian people. Let me say I really like them. He said, but may I ask you something? Why you be so passionate about the freedom of our people then? And I turned to my former classmate and I said, my sister, may I ask you something? You know the conditions where you grew up in Manfe. You know the conditions where you grew up in a village. You know the conditions. I don't need to tell you. Tell me how you grew up. You know the suffering. You know the pain for live through occupation or in an occupational system. I tell you, say, if you care, after you don't go through all those suffering and pain, and God don't help you for a free country, why you would accept, make other people live through the same pain? Why you accept, make your brothers, your sisters, your mommy, your papa, your uncles, your aunts, and your other former classmates, your village people them, your friends and for village you leave them behind, your friends and your community people them, why you go accept, make them continue for live for a system where you don't run away from? Because if the system be that good, me and you not for run. For live for exile. Now when you there for a place, I tell you, say you don't live for Canada for quite a number of years. And you dey enjoy all these privileges. You dey enjoy all these freedoms. And you consider the country one of the best places on the face of the earth. And one of the reasons why you fit live that kind of life, live in peace, in dignity, and for pursue your highest aspirations, not because of the gift of freedom. I ask you, say, why you don't want those things for people that won't leave them back home? Why you don't want make them get the same privileges like you? Why you don't want me to get the same basic human rights like you? Why you don't want me to get the same opportunities like you? Why you don't want me to pursue their own highest aspirations and for be self-empowered and for be able to live a decent, dignified life where be full of hope? I tell you, say, there is no day where you go for bed, no matter what did happen for your life, and you go for bed in fear. Say some person will come rape you. Say some person will come break your house, kill you, and you are picking them. There is no day for this country. There is none. I tell you, so I be passionate. I be enthusiastic. I be empowered. I be driven. Because once you don't taste the gift of freedom and all the possibilities where they come with those gifts of freedom, because you care about other people, their lives, you go want make them get those same opportunities. You know, your heart no will ever leave you for see other people them that they be killed because of an occupational system. I tell you, say, if you care, you no will ever live and make this thing happen. If you care because you love your life, you value your life, and you don't see the benefits of living in a structured, lawful, free society, will be self-empowering, you will desire for others. I want my ability for travel from one part of Canada for reach for other part of Canada. And if you stay for any place, be for anywhere, do anything within the social structure of our country. I want make an Ambazonian pikin where they born for Manthe. If he come up for Manthe, he travel for Bamenda, he no will meet up no checkpoint, and no person no will ask you which side he go. No person no will stop you, ask you for identity, and ask you for pay bribe for you for travel. I want make one mammy them if you go farm in peace, cultivate their crops, work, sing, carry their harvest, reach house in peace. I want make our brothers, if you go to kind schools, we go make them become not only intelligent, but it will make them become very resourceful. And that education be very useful for our society. We go create employments, or it will help them for invent things and create startups. Even if they choose for be farmer, for do farming, it will be a choice. It will be a choice because they enjoy farming and they enjoy the benefits of which farming fit create them for society, and the rewards, the financial rewards, which farming fit bring them for them. Once you understand all these things, you as an Ambazonian, especially we will do for diaspora, you go understand the importance for stand with ground zero. The battleground of our liberation struggle not been at the diaspora. The battleground of our liberation struggle na ground zero. Now for support and empower the Ambazonian people them across the territory. For stand up, for resist, for rise up, for fight and for dismantle the Cameroon occupational system in all its shapes and its forms. Now the reason that for leadership. Leadership now for empower the people them, for defeat evil. Colonialism is the greatest evil on the face of the earth. Occupation are the greatest evil on the face of the earth. Because colonialism take away the human dignity from a human being. Cameroon occupation for Ambazonia now the greatest evil for our land. And we must defeat them. We must confront them. We must challenge them. And we must defeat this evil for our land. In order for we forgive the Ambazonian people them the dignity where they need them, the dignity where they deserve them, the life where they need them, the life where they deserve them, the prosperity where they deserve them, the peace, the sustainable peace. Not be peace by fear. Not be imposed peace. Peace. Natural peace. Based on a structured, free society. Freedom in all its shapes and forms. Freedom of conscience. Freedom of thought. Freedom of expression. Freedom of choice. The ability to criticize authorities. The freedom to pursue your dreams and your goals without any threat. The freedom to dream. The freedom to work hard. The freedom to create. The freedom to serve. The freedom to choose what you want to worship, what you believe, who you want to marry, who you want to be in a relationship with. The freedom to choose who you want to be in order to actualize your highest self and manifest your highest aspiration based on what God don't put on for your heart. So, the Ambazonia Governing Council, all the Ambazonian Liberation Movement, all anybody talks say, oh, we go fight Cameroon, we go fight Cameroon, we go fight Cameroon. Self-defense. When the Ambazonia Governing Council creates self-defense, it be only mean that for achieve certain specific liberation objectives, for give control back to the Ambazonian people then. Our goal not be for fight Cameroon for eternity. That's why strategies will be very important for defeat the occupier and give the Ambazonian people them back control. Occupation take away control from Amazonia. Liberation, okay, ma repeat them. Ma take a step back. The occupation, it take away authority and control from the Ambazonian people then. Liberation, now for give back authority and control to the Ambazonian people then. Occupation deprive the Ambazonian people then from opportunities. Liberation, now for create opportunities and give our people them back their authority, their control, and give them back their freedom. Okay? Opportunity take away the ability for create wealth. The liberation, it give you the ability, the power, the control for being able to create wealth. Occupation, it impose misery upon your life. The liberation, now for create a good life for you. Occupation impose poverty upon you. The liberation that will give you wealth and success for your life. The occupation impose a short lifespan. An average Ambazonian now, you need even live up to 45 years. If you live to be 50 and 60 years from Ambazonia, you'll be very lucky. Most Ambazonians, they die before the age of 30. If you live to be 40 years old, you'll be very lucky. The occupation creates a short lifespan for you based on the conditions, the draconian conditions of the occupation. The liberation, now for remove all those barriers of occupation and give the Ambazonian people them new life. For increased lifespan and longevity. For give you a good environment. Will be very healthy, it be very conducive, and it be very economically prosperous. All right? So, Once you understand these things and how important, how essential these things be, the goal now for pursue a set of strategies, a set of actions where they will give the Ambazonian people them back authority and control over their land, over their institutions, and over their destinies. How will we do it? Because now what people they think they say, now only self-defense will give you independence. Gonna be wrong. Self-defense not just one of the many strategies for defeat the occupier. Self-defense, the goal of self-defense, now for challenge the occupational political infrastructures and the occupational military and security infrastructures. Now self-defense will work that. The reason why they invoke self-defense, now for directly challenge Cameroon political institutions for Ambazonia and their military security apparatus institutions for Ambazonia. Self-defense, the goal of self-defense are for dismantle Cameroon political setup for Ambazonia. Because if you not dismantle the occupational political setup, you not create an environment what they call as liberation for create the Ambazonian political setup. Until you did the goal now for dismantle the Cameroon political setup and then create an Ambazonian political setup. All right. So self-defense not just one of the core key strategies for achieve some of those things in. But remember, as I get a conversation with the top strategists for Ambazonia Governing Council the other day, it's a PS. Look, you feel kill 10 Cameroon police, gendarme, B, and army. For kill Cameroon police, gendarme, B, and army, now only 20% of the work. Okay? Now only 20% of the work. It's a 80% of the work. Now for take out the colonial enablers, when they administer the occupation, when they administer the colonialism. If you notice, when the Ambazonian Defense Forces, they capture Regina Mundi, one of the top colonial enablers, when they enable and manage and run the colonialism and occupation. If you now notice them, the Ambazonian people, they be so happy. There is a happiness. And that happiness will be more than even when forces, they go attack La République du Cameroon military base. When Mundi be captured, Ambazonians, they celebrate more than even when the forces, they kill La République soldiers. Una be notice them, right? Because una understand, say, taking out these people, going after the top colonial enablers, it be more effective. The Cameroon army for inside Ambazonia, they be useless if the colonial enablers are not there. Because they hide under these colonial enablers. They hide under the umbrellas of the Mundis, of the Nijon Frundis. Oh, when I don't realize and say, some of these colonial enablers, their name, they end the same. Mundi and Frundi. Their name, they almost be the same. All right? When I don't notice them. So, if you notice them, going after the top Cameroon colonial enablers, it be much more effective for dismantle the occupation than even for kill the Cameroon army, police, and gendarmes. So, if a greater impact, it will be now for take out the colonial enablers. Now for arrest these colonial enablers when they administer the occupation, then why we need to put our energy for those things? When they will give you a greater impact. Imagine one day you woke up for morning, or for afternoon, or for evening, and you just say, the governor, the colonial governor for the Savannah State, Lille Lafrique, don't be captured. You go celebrate. Imagine say you woke up, you hear say Okala Bilai, it don't be captured by Ambazonian forces. You go celebrate. Because now Okala Bilai, the only reason why the army, the police, the gendarmes, they did for Ambazonia, and because Okala Bilai did it as a governor, for give them political cover. Okala Bilai did for Ambazonia, now for give the army, the police, the gendarme, political cover. Just like Regina Mundi, Nijon Frundi, they give Cameroon Cameroon police, Cameroon army, they give them political cover. So if you want to take away that political cover, you must arrest all these colonial enablers. There is nowhere for Ukraine today. There is nowhere in Ukraine where the Ukrainian people, they go tolerate any person with the Russian government. They can't put them inside Ukraine for govern the Ukrainian people then. Any person. There's nowhere. Now only for Ambazonia they do this thing. Not only for Ambazonia. It be very strange. Say for Ambazonia, an enabler and a celebrity. An enabler of genocide. An enabler of colonialism. An enabler of occupation. Ambazonia, that person is a celebrity for Ambazonia. Now a very strange thing. Only for Ambazonia. There is nowhere else where a traitor is a celebrity. People that they worship these people, them respect them, elevate them, and see them like very strange. So look, for Ambazonia, for exert a right and authority over the land, you must you must arrest all the top colonial enablers, when they administer colonialism, administer occupation, and administer genocide. It be very important. Secondly, the Ambazonian people must understand Cameroon, their laws for Ambazonia, are part of the legitimacy. While people, they must stop obeying Cameroon laws. While people, they must stop obeying Cameroon laws. Okay? And start to use Cameroon things in. That's why the Governing Council of Ambazonia. So if you pay tax to the Cameroon government, you give them legitimacy for occupy you. If you pay tax to Ambazonia, if companies from Ambazonia, they pay tax for La République du Cameroon, it means that they still give Cameroon the power for administer colonialism and occupation, and they give the Cameroon government more money for use them, for increase the power of its army, for continue human rights abuses, for commit atrocities, for continuous atrocities, and terrorism on the Ambazonian people. Then. So you give Cameroon more power by paying taxes to them. That's why the Governing Council of Ambazonia, it changed the way they think and the way they behave and the way they approach our liberation struggle. That's why the Governing Council of Ambazonia, they empower the Ambazonian people then by creating policies where they become law on the land, okay? By creating policies for challenge the occupation and give the Ambazonian people them direct authority. That's why the Governing Council of Ambazonia introduced the liberation tax. Una listen very carefully because it be very important for una. For the Ambazonian Governing Council, for talk about the liberation tax policy, not just a political statement. Now a policy we get significant impact, very proportional impact, all right, on the liberation struggle, because it tell the world, say Cameroon no get authority over the Ambazonian territory anymore, and now the Ambazonian people them they get authority. For now the Ambazonian people they feel collect tax for their own territory. Why this one be important? It be important because if you stand for say not only the Ambazonian people them they get right for collect taxes for their own territory, that means you tell the world say Cameroon don't be defeated. And it be powerful because when you put yourself as the authority of the land, you become the authority of the land. We must accept our authority. Number one, calling on all Ambazonian forces for implement the liberation tax. All multinational companies, They must pay their taxes to Ambazonian forces in the areas of their dominant control. Any place where Ambazonian forces that they operate, all foreign companies, all multinationals, including Cameroon state corporations, they must pay their taxes to the authority of the land for the areas where our forces that they control them. So the forces in Manu, the forces in Fako, the forces in Meme, all foreign companies, they must pay their liberation taxes to Una as the defenders of the land, as the new authority of the land. The forces for Libialem, foreign companies, they must pay all taxes to Una. All right? The same for Bui, same for Ngoketuja, same for Boyo, same for Mezan. Everywhere across Ambazonia. Secondly, Cameroon license plate. Cameroon license plate is a symbol of occupation. By using that license plate, you don't accept, say, you live under occupational system. So they institute the Cameroon license plate ban as a policy. Now, part of the strategy for dismantle and delegitimize Cameroon. Because that number plate, you pay for using. And that number plate shows that Cameroon they control the land. So we call on all Ambazonian forces for implement the ban on SMAC and Cameroon license plates on all across the territory. Whether not for Manu or for Meme or for Fako, whether not for Ndian or for Coupe, whether not for Boyo or for Lebialem. All right? Across the territory. Now for implement the license plate ban. We call on all drivers for respect this policy. You must stand up for your rights, for be free. Now these policies, they show who get control over the land. Who get control over the land. All these policies, because forces they go they fit kill Cameroon force fighters. Forces they fit kill Janam, they fit kill B. If you not implement policies where they replace Cameroon control over and give the Ambazonian people them authority, you still waste your time. We still waste your time. This policy, they give our people them back their authority. They give our people back their sovereignty. You must challenge Cameroon. You need to challenge them just because for go kill a Kelebe. You challenge them by cleaning the land from all enablers, from all administrators of colonialism, occupation, and genocide. And the only way that if you take back control of your land and institute structures and setups where they give our people themselves governance. The Ambazonia Governing Council, they focus now for institute liberation governance over the territory. For empower and give our people them back self-control and self-rule. Not only for attack Ekelebe. Attacking Ekelebe na 20% of the game. 80% of the game. Now for make sure say for places then we were people that get dominant control, they set up Ambazonian transition political systems under the Ambazonian Transition Authority for self-governance, for self-rule, for self-management, for self-empowerment, for self-development of our culture, our communities, our societies, and for beginning the process of rebuilding our lives as a sovereign people then. All right? That the empowerment is. That the direction this way the governing council they go. The war now not been only war for fight the Kelebe. That one at 20% of the work. And forces across the territory, they do that one. But the next thing, now for implement policies, now for create policies, and implement policies for give the people them self-governance, self-authority, self-management, self-rule. Now for accept sovereignty on our land and on our lives. So, una be very optimistic, una be very excited, and una support the leadership for implement and enforce these policies. We call on everybody. Una implement the ban. Okay? Una implement the ban. General Grandpa of Bali. Una make sure say for the place where una get dominant authority, una make sure say una start for implement the transition authority. Una make sure say una implement liberation tax. All foreign companies where they operate for areas so una they must pay their liberation tax to una. And una use that money for the defense of our people then. Una use that money for recruit more forces, for train more soldiers, for bring peace and stability and protection of our people then. For accept the Ambazonian people their right over their sovereignty. And for defend that sovereignty. Same thing for General OPT. For the areas, we encourage General OPT for also focus the energy for make sure say the fit get liberated territories where they control them, they defend them, and for create areas where the Ambazonian people they fit start the implementation of transition authority. This message it also go for the forces them for Libialem, the forces them for Field Marshal for Libialem. All the forces them where they be under the TTA. All them, we call everybody, no matter place where they operate. We start for focus, for create liberated territories, for implement the transition authority. The forces them for Bui that they do great. Bui are one of those places where they really implement the Ambazonian Liberation Authority. And Bui and Momo, they get more community schools past any other place for Ambazonia. For the state of Bui and Momo, they get more community schools than any other place for Ambazonia. They follow the liberation blueprint for transition authority. So wanna be more excited, wanna be more optimistic. The future be bright. All right, the future is quite bright. It's time. All right, my team people then they say we'll get for go. So make a leave for here. Una stay fine, una be safe. I will come back for una at the moment I get any small time. All right, we're there for road. It's a lot to do. So more wanna take good care of ourselves. I'm just telling take this time. We can get this conversation with una for make this podcast and for make sure say we continue for empower our people them. So wanna take good care of ourselves. Papa and mommy them. Wanna take good care of ourselves. Wanna take good care of our picking them. All these things we do them and for make sure say we live with dignity. For make sure say we live a good life. For make sure say we be happy. For make sure say we be safe. For make sure say we're picking a brighter future. All right. Colonialism are evil. Occupation are evil, and it must be defeated. All right. Make a leave and so. When I get a good night, when I get my phone number at any time, if you send me a message, when I get time, when I know say I always respond. All right. If anything they happen for communities, when I take videos, when I send with audio messages, when I send with pictures of things that they happen, so that we fit document them and we fit broadcast them to the world. Make una get a blessed night. May God bless you now. and we'll keep una for our prayers. All right? Una get a good night.